Yeah. What is up, Amazing Race fans? We are back after a long hiatus. Life got in the way, but we are here tonight. Joining me tonight is the one, the only Calbert. Calbert, how you doing?
What's going on, everybody?
So, just to kind of give a reason why we've been gone for a while, I went up north Wednesday night. The episode of that my team got eliminated, and just never really got back to doing it. And last week Tuesday was the election, so it was kind of busy for all of us, and so we just didn't really get to record until now. So hopefully we won't have to miss any episodes by the week. But here we are. We are back tonight, and got a lot to talk about, Calbert. We got one Jordan episode to talk about, 2 France episodes. Correct. So we got a lot to go over. So I guess most people are wondering, what do I think of Abby and Will getting disqualified? I'm not even going to say it's eliminated. They were disqualified. So I guess I'll talk about that for a little bit. Really, really, really frustrating. With the team that you draft, you don't even really get to see them get eliminated. I would have rather had that, because I would at least had a conclusion to their race. And do we know which one was COVID positive?
I never heard. I just saw Phil announce on the phone to pretty much the entire group plus your team, like, hey, you tested positive for COVID, you're eliminated. I never heard which was positive. So
yeah, I don't think they are. Maybe they both were. Obviously that wouldn't be too hard to comprehend, but I'm not sure if there was one or both, but nonetheless they could not continue the race. I think at this point, or at least when this was filmed, it wasn't like, I mean, COVID was still kind of like, the restrictions were still pretty, I wouldn't say super strict. They weren't like they were early 2021, 2020, but they still weren't like super lax yet. So I guess my question is, do we ever come to a point where someone gets COVID and it's not tested anymore? What do you think, Calbert?
I don't think so. I mean, it's obviously here to stay. Like, there are people that are testing positive for it now. So I think it's just here now. Whether or not, it's gonna be interesting to see what Amazing Race does, because we're under the impression that they're gonna have a season 35. So what do they do? Because we've seen even with this past week's episode that for some of the people wore masks even while they're getting the clue, and some of them didn't. So I don't know what that means. I think that kind of goes back to a little bit what you're saying. We don't exactly know when this was completely shot. So there were people in the second part of the Jordan episode, they were in the cars and they're wearing masks, right? Even in the back seat. So, like, I don't know. I just think it's here. I think that I guess it depends on my guess would be, I guess it depends on when the team got it, right? Because I think that's going to dictate what they do, because everybody's so close to each other. Like, I mean, it's no one's fault, but like you got to have some ground rules, because because if they infect somebody else, then my team could get eliminated, and then Goldberg team get eliminated because they're so close to each other.
Yeah. Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I don't think it's. I think they just kind of live with it and maybe come up with maybe a different policy. I mean, I know it kind of sucks for you to have it end this way again for you. I felt bad for you for about a whole 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, boom, they're out. That was it.
I mean, I don't even know necessarily if they could have won, but now we'll never know.
Right.
My instincts would say probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have liked to see them at least get the shot.
Yeah.
Get the opportunity.
Officially get eliminated. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's all you're asking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I could have easily. Yeah, they would. They at that point they did not win a leg.
Right.
However, it wouldn't have been inconceivable to see them in the final three.
Sure. Because of. I mean, what we're going to talk about later for this past week's episode and the episode prior to that.
Right.
So, I mean, it's definitely conceivable. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I think the private plane is here to stay. I think that's a thing. I think that's that they got that. Like, this is what they're gonna do.
Yeah. Well, let me piggyback off that real quick, and then you finish your point. But I think though, yes, the plane is here to stay. If they have COVID rules, where they're going to eliminate a team for getting COVID, the private plane's gonna be there. There's just no other way they can do it. Secondly, I guess my other question was, is it ever going to be like the flu? I mean, I would imagine at some point a team got the flu in some season, I'm sure. And does it ever become that where we're just like, okay, the vaccines are out now. You know what I mean? Like, if you want them, you can get them. There's a lot of precautions you can take. I'm not going to say COVID's not going to kill any more people. And I hate to speak so darkly, but you know what I mean? It's like it could have happened with the flu at some point too. So I'm just wondering, are these protocols going to be in place for who knows how many seasons? I'm not sure. And I'm sure if the CDC is going to, probably dictate what they do and what they don't do.
Right.
So,
and I'm sure that I'm sure that every team had to have like some type of shots for going for this season. Like, because they're traveling, because we're going back to traveling internationally. So, that explains why we've had longer legs for certain countries. So I think it could be indefinite.
Yeah.
That's why as much as this sucks, that's kind of why I like the fact, at least for this season, that we're now done with the non-elimination portion, right? So if they keep that for season 35, I guess that's just what's going to happen. Like, yeah, that sucks. It's kind of like the fine print. You have an opportunity to win money, right?
Yeah.
That the important part of that sentence is opportunity and to, not that you're going to, right? I mean, that's a different thing. So like, I just think that that's just how it's going to be. And that probably, is going to lead to more mega legs and, possibly more opportunities for basically, I think they're going to continue the, each team gets eliminated each week, unless I tell you otherwise, Phil, that deal. I just think that's how I think that could stay too. I could definitely see that. Because look at how because the teams don't know, right? They don't know where they're sitting until they stand on the mat. They're going balls to the wall, right? So, I think that might stay. Don't know, but I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I agree. I think at some point, like, I don't know. I mean, it's just really hard to tell. And I think when they were filming this, I think it was, I want to say late spring, early summer 2021. So, I mean, obviously it's a little more stricter. But then again, I've also heard that Canada and Australia handled the COVID differently because I guess whoever won Amazing Race Canada actually got COVID during the race, and they had to sit out for 3 legs. So I'm not really sure how they did that. I'm not sure if it's something the U.S. version could do, but
they filmed. Let's see. The filming dates were May 25th through June 26th of this year. So not that long ago. But
in 2022?
2022. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So
Oh,
it premiered September. It premiered September 21st, but they shot it in. So they shot it a little less than a month. That's pretty quick.
okay.
May
Wow.
25th to June 16, 2022.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's
that was the film.
okay.
So for this season. So that's not that long ago. But then again, to your point, like just because we went, okay, everything's open up, everybody, all the acted differently, right? So, that explains then. But that's only 6 months ago. Look at me do math. I was told there'd be no math today. That's only 6 months,
Right.
So
what's the CDC? It's 5 days right now? Because it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, correct.
So now it's 5 days.
Yeah. So I mean
yeah.
Right. And so that just goes to show you. So that's less than
who knows? It could go down to 1 day. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, right. That's why I think they could be. I think they're going to be careful too of which ones they take, right? Because we don't know, right?
Yeah.
So my guess is that it's going to be more international like it always is.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's going to be a mega leg in I'll just use Italy as an example. There's going to be a mega leg in Italy, or Russia or something. They're gonna pick something, right? And so they're gonna pick a country, and that's gonna be it. Like
you're gonna have those 2 legs that are gonna be in that country no matter what.
Yeah,
which I'm fine with. I'm fine with the plane. I'm fine with the self-driving. A lot of self-driving. I'm okay with that.
I still don't. Maybe they'll change this. Maybe they'll say instead of each team, having 2 sets or 3 sets of teams leaving all at once, maybe they'll kind of go back to like a little bit of original, like, you finish first, you get to leave first.
Yeah.
Because there's no, I mean, let's go back to the beginning. It's all outside, right? So, chances of you getting it, sure, possible, very unlikely now that we know.
Yeah.
So
they caught it from somebody.
Yeah.
They caught it from someone in one of the towns or cities they were in. So who knows? Right. I'm just shocked they were the only ones to get it.
That was surprising. I thought that was very surprising. I was like, and considering how close each team was to each other, like that's, I don't know.
Just it was kind of crazy. But so do we think that Abby and Will get another shot, along with some of the teams from season 33 who obviously had to stop racing?
I could see that. It depends on if they want to do it. Like that's the thing. Like I don't know if I could, because that's you're away from your family, you're away from your friends, you're away from your kids, you're away from your job. Because like let's face it, like everybody's generally going back to work.
Right.
So like I don't know if I could muster enough energy to go, I'm gonna try this again. Yeah, damn COVID, that sucks, but I'm gonna try and win $1 million.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's it, and that's the thing too. Like to your point, it's not like we're into the top 4 at this point. That would suck. I'm that close to I got a 1 in.
Oh yeah. They were still relatively in the middle there. Yeah.
So
I think it came out in.
I don't know. I could see that. I could see. Oh, to your point, like I could see them bringing back teams from season 33. Sure. Yeah.
It also kind of lends credence to them not getting shown much.
That would make sense. Yeah.
They didn't want to show. They're not going to really show a team that's already they know is just going to be kind of eliminated in a very, very anticlimactic fashion. So they're not going to show them a ton of airtime. Mm-hmm. I totally understand that move now.
Sure.
So yeah, very frustrated with that. As as I should be, but it is what it is at this point, and there's really nothing I can do. I'm not gonna go on here and pick another team. That's not right either. So, but anyways, enough about that. I guess we can start talking about the first leg in Jordan, or second leg in Jordan. So, the episode was titled Step by Step. So they first had to do, was it the, geez, do you remember what came first? Was it the roadblock where they had to assemble a cart called Iraba in order to receive their next clue? Or was it the detour, step by step or letter by letter? I want to say it was the roadblock first, correct?
I believe it was the roadblock first, because I remember the cart was the second part, because my team, I'm ruining the episode if you haven't seen it already, because remember my team has to put it back together, because my team, like, the cart came completely apart while they were, like, they got the goal, and then they had to basically on the side of the road put it back together.
Yes, it all kind of went sour for them, but it really didn't cost them. So you're saying the roadblock was second and the detour was first?
I believe so, if I remember correctly. Yep.
Okay. So the detour was step by step or letter by letter, and step by step teams had to learn and perform a Georgian dance in order to receive their next clue. And then in letter by letter, teams had to learn and recite the 28 letters of the Arabic alphabet in order to receive their next clue. Calbert, which one are you picking here?
I'm doing letter by letter.
Okay.
Because here's why. Even though my team, of course, they did the dance, and somebody said it on this podcast they would finish in first for this episode. I eventually got that right as well. But I would do letter by letter because of how strict the dance instructors were for, like, the perfectionist part of the dance that needed to be right, especially for the woman that, like, had to hold the sword.
Yes.
So I'm doing letter by letter, even though some of those letters were really, really hard to pronounce.
Yeah. They seem, well, at least it didn't seem like it was too far to get to.
Yeah, they were.
Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unlike last week's episode, and we'll talk about that.
Right.
But I think I would have done the dance actually, because I'm just good at pronouncing things, and I don't want to be held up. At least with dances, I'll get the routine eventually, know. So I think that's where I'm going to do the dance, but I totally understand if you want to do letter by letter as well. So, I mean, seemed like Marcus and Michael had some issues with the letter by letter.
Yeah, but that also seems to be what they decide to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
They decided to do it for this past week's episode. So, like, I guess that's their thing, which, I mean, cool, assuming you get it right, yeah, so.
Yeah, and then basically the teams had to bring their cart to the roadblock, which was at Nimfam. And obviously teams were pretty relaxed, I guess, because they knew Abby and Will were already eliminated, so they knew that they weren't going to get eliminated. But then again, the last place team started 45 minutes behind everyone else, so obviously that became a pretty big role in Glendon and Lumumba. But let's just go over the standings for this episode. So first place we had Marcus and Michael did take first on this, so they had a pretty solid. They seem to always, like, make a mistake, but then correct the mistake like tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
And they cruise just from that. So it's actually pretty fascinating how they're able to do that. But Actually, no, wait, I'm sorry. This was actually leg 5. Okay, this was the 6th episode, but the 5th leg. So I got a little confused there. Luis and
Correct.
Michelle.
That's right. I was about to say Luis and Michelle went first.
Yeah. And then Aubrey and David actually got a 2nd place finish, which was pretty solid there. And Quentin and Maddie got 3rd in this one.
Correct.
4th was Derek and Claire. 5th was Marcus and Michael. So they did have a pretty challenging leg. That was actually their 2nd worst finish.
Because they had trouble building the cart. Because they
Correct.
they were there. They were like one of the first teams there. But they had trouble with the cart. And I'll just gripe about the cart for just 30 seconds. Like, because Luis complained about this too. Like, at least when you get IKEA furniture that you know is going to break in about 5 minutes after you put it together, at least there's like pictures to go with it. This was just like, here's some wood, here's a hammer, here's some nails, here's some screws. Like,
yeah.
What? What?
Yeah.
And it has to stay together, which I didn't think about. Like, I wasn't processing that when it was done. I was like, okay, like, I don't exactly know what they're supposed to do with it, but let's go, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, that I'm off my soapbox now. So we can continue.
Sure. And then you had Emily and Molly at 6th, and Glenda and Lumumba at 7th. So obviously not too good there. So yeah, that was episode 6.
But we kind of knew that going in. We kind of knew, because we said that during the episode beforehand, that they were in trouble. That Lumumba was in trouble. Like,
yeah, they couldn't make up any time. They could not
right.
make up. They could not get out of that back half. And it seems like there was just a lot of directions. I guess navigation just kind of, I don't know, just kind of did them in there. So,
right.
Plus the late starts. It's a bad combo.
Yeah, and then like their car ended up on their car ended up with that big issue. Like, they were in pretty much like a hole.
Yeah.
Out of.
Yes, that too.
Mm-hmm.
That too. So, Jordan, I thought the Jordan episodes were kind of anticlimactic for a country that you're going to for the first time. I didn't think they were that great.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought that was okay. I thought it was all right.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of middle of the road for me. Like, I was like, okay, cool. Like, you're in a country you've never been in before, but like, this isn't really challenging.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we're in it. They went to a different continent.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. What would you give?
I give it a 5. I give it a 5. So I give it a 6 for the first one and a 5 for the second one, just because it was just like, it didn't make any. I mean, it made sense. Yes. I understood what they were doing, especially for the dance part. That part made sense, but like, and learning the letters, okay, but like, I was like, okay, no big deal. We can go on.
Yeah. So, all right, then we go to episode 7, which was like 6.
Correct.
We go to France. Now this is where I think we had some of the better episodes so far this season. I don't know, from my watching, I would say both of these I enjoyed. Episode 7 was called "It's Simply Medieval." They went to the pit start was at Binac et Caznac Dordogne, Chateau de Binac was where it started. So the roadblock was one team member had to study the Camarac family tree, rappel 131 feet down an exterior wall of the Chateau de Camarac, and then had to match 5 names to their family crests in order to receive their next clue. Now, this seemed confusing right when it started, but it, as you watched it more, it got a little more clear as what they had to do. Basically, your first attempt, you had to basically just guess, because there's no way you were going to know what you were doing. So I don't think any team just aced it their first time.
No, but I will say, at least for my team, because Michelle did this leg for my team, and I thought that was smart. That's exactly what she did. She just went. She rappelled down the down the wall and went, oh, okay. And then like she did like some mnemonic devices to remember what she had to do for the second time. That's how it worked. And I was like, that was really freaking smart, because I wouldn't have known either. Like it was a dude standing there with a bunch of different pictures of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was really smart. And then that just kind of followed suit. That's kind of what everybody did, once they kind of figured out, okay, I'll do the same thing.
Yes.
So.
Well, let's talk about Marcus and Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Michael. No, I think it was. Is Marcus the younger one? Marcus is the younger one, right?
Correct. Marcus is the
so Marcus left his stuff after he finished the roadblock, which kind of caught a little bit, but then they were able to just destroy it on the navigation part of this. So, and then let's talk about the detour here. So, well, actually, before that, even we got to talk about this. Glenda and Lumumba had one of the biggest, accident. I mean, not the biggest accident, but you fall backwards on a cliff or like a little hill.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. And you got to wait for the tractor to come get you.
Yep.
And they're lucky that person actually came as fast as they could.
Right.
It didn't seem that long, but they were already behind anyway. So that was almost like the kiss of death there for them.
True.
So
kind of just sums up their last couple weeks with the last couple episodes. They couldn't catch a break when they needed to.
Correct. I mean, they started off so hot too.
Mm-hmm.
They just fizzled really badly. So, in the detour, the Legs detour was a choice between Walnut Cracker or Medieval Gamer. And Walnut Cracker teams had to crack and press walnuts until they produced enough walnut oil in order to fill a container and receive their next clue. In Medieval Gamer, teams had to complete 3 medieval games in order to receive their next clue. So, for this one, Calbert, which one are you picking?
I'm cracking the walnuts. I saw both challenges, which they were also kind of like right near each other.
Yes.
And I'm cracking the walnuts all day.
Yeah.
Because although theoretically it would have made sense to do the medieval games, which Lumumba tried to do, because he's short, he had to throw stuff up on top of, basically on top of a pole for 2 of them anyway. It's hard to do. You pretty much you had as many opportunities as you wanted, but like you pretty much got one shot to try and make up as much time, as opposed to just cracking the nuts. Okay, all I got to do is make it to the line, and then I'm pretty much good.
Yes.
That's what had to happen. That's why if it were me, I would have done the walnuts.
I think it depends on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out in front, walnut all day. But if let's say you're in that 5th place range, you see the 4th place team get there right away, and you feel confident on your game skills, it might be worth the risk to do the medieval games, because if you are really good at them, you can do them really fast, as Claire and Derek saw.
True.
They took advantage of that and they passed up a bunch of people.
True.
So I think honestly that it really depends on where you are. I think that 3rd game, the one with the ball in the hole, that would have been the one that would have got me the most, because you have to communicate to your partner.
Right, because your partner can't see. Right. Yep, because your partner can't. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if you're not, then you gotta listen to your partner, like precisely almost. So that was the one that would have gotten me. But I think I'm doing walnut, but it also depends on where I'm at. Like you may have to do the medieval games depending on where you are. So I think it kind of depends on that, but I would do walnut just because. So all right, for that leg, the standings excuse me, the standings were Marcus and Michael took first Now, this is where their navigation skills just really panned out. They had a solid run there.
True.
Second place was Emily and Molly, which they had a couple weeks kind of in the mid, but they really made up for it here. Third place was Derek and Claire, moving up 1 from fourth. Fourth place was Luis and Michelle, moved down 3 to fourth. Fifth place was Quentin and Maddie, moved back 2 there. And sixth place was Aubrey and David. And seventh place was Glenda and Lumumba. I don't think it was super close.
Wasn't.
But, it is what it is. So, Calbert, what do you think
about Lumumba being gone? That we can't see.
Yeah, what do you think of Glenda and Lumumba? I mean, I guess we can talk about them.
I had nothing wrong, no issue with them. They were a fine team. They couldn't catch a break. I mean, they made the right choice by playing, but by playing the medieval games. But they just the car pretty much going off and damn near off a cliff. And like she apologized too, like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, like accidents happen for a reason, but they just didn't catch a break, and they're now at home, which is good. So now they can worry about having kids.
Boom boom.
Yep, boom boom. That's right.
That's boom boom's on its way.
That's right.
So I don't think they're a bad team, but I just think the navigation part, you're going to notice a trend. I think these last 2 weeks with eliminations is that the teams with bad navigation skills, didn't matter how good they were at the tasks.
No.
The navigation killed you, especially in a season with, COVID restrictions. You got to watch out for that. So it just did not work to their advantage. So I thought this episode, I actually enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a 7. What about you, Calbert?
I gave it a 6 just because of the medieval games. I thought those are kind of cool. Like, even though I wouldn't like them, I thought that was kind of a cool thing to do. So
you didn't like the rappel?
I thought the rappel was cool.
Yeah.
I was just like everybody else going, what are we supposed to do? Looking at that wall with a whole bunch of different names, I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's a big freaking family history too. Like, I was like, holy crap.
What was it? 1,000 castles?
Yeah, 1,001, I think. Yeah.
1,001 castles, yeah.
Yeah.
Why am I thinking of Dean Malenko right now?
Because
the man of 1,001 holes. Holds.
Right. I thought the same thing though.
Is that where he got it from? No. But I don't know. I thought this episode was a little bit better than the Jordan one. So I'm gonna give. So there was and with the whole Glenda and Lumumba car issue, I thought that was at least somewhat entertaining. So there was some excitement in this one.
Sure.
All right, and then moving on to last week's, finally catching up here to the second France episode. We had. This episode was called La Ville Rose. I probably butchered that, but anyways, yeah. So the first episode, or the first thing they had to do is they had to one team member had to perform a rugby training drill and then complete a drop kick in order to receive their next clue. So let's talk about this here. It looked like I didn't know if Emily and Molly were going to be able to do this because it definitely didn't seem like they were going to do it at first. I mean, it took them about 8 or 9 tries.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, and I didn't realize. I mean, to be fair, like I've watched a grand total of like 2 minutes of rugby when it's on at like 2:00 in the morning on FS1. So I didn't really realize that you had to angle the ball in a certain way. Figured it out later. But, like, that's why some of them could do it once. Like, that's why it worked really well for Quinn and Maddie. But, like, Marcus and Michael, not so much. Right? Mm-hmm. And with one of them being a football player, you would have thought. Now, granted, he was a wide receiver, so it's a little different. But that the hardest thing was the kicking part.
Yeah.
Which I mean, for as much work as I've watched, that's the most important part too. That's how you get all the points. So you got to be able to kick. So, I thought it was kind of interesting. Which, by the way, we I don't want to forget about this part. In the episode before that, Aubrey and David were kind of arguing back and forth about.
Oh yeah.
Navigation, and David didn't like the way that Aubrey was kind of doing it, and she was getting frustrated. And so this episode, midway through, they switched. So Aubrey decided to drive, and David decided to navigate. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That was the first time I kind of saw like there was a little bit of tension between the couples. So
yeah, they were a lot better this week.
Yes, they were. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but yeah, so it's interesting. I kind of like. What do you think about this? I kind of like the rugby aspect of it.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't remember a rugby style task that they've done in the past. So anything that's kind of like new and different, I'm all for. Seemed like it was a hassle just to get to the place.
Which that goes back to, for as much praise as we just gave Marcus and Michael, this was their downfall. Navigation again, struck again. They chose the wrong exit route, right? So kind of did them in.
Yeah, Marcus and Michael, they really struggled here. Could not kick at all.
No.
He finally got it, but man, he was like overrunning it half the time, and other time he just wasn't setting it properly, and he had all sorts of trouble on this one.
Hey yo.
Wait a second. Who was that? Wait, is it Goldberg? Goldberg has joined us mid-episode. All right.
Yo!
What's going on,
Goldberg? Man? What is going on, Goldberg? How was your night, Goldberg?
Pretty solid night.
That's good.
Florida Panther game, right?
Went to the Panther game, our first game in like 10 years.
Wow.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Did the Panthers win, Goldberg?
They did win, and I caught a rat that they threw into the stands.
Ooh.
They do that when they score a goal.
Not a live rat.
Not a live rat. No, it's very loud and very fun to watch.
What kind of rat is this?
Like a. Let me see if I'll send you a picture, but like
not a ring rat, I hope.
A rubber rat.
The rubber. Yeah.
Okay, rubber rat. This is their gimmick.
I guess so. They threw like 10 of them over the glass when the game ended.
Yeah.
And then I caught it, and I didn't catch it, but I kind of bowled my way into the kind of pushed some 10-year-olds out of the way to make sure I got it.
It's like you baseballed them, didn't you? I want the $5 baseball.
I was trucking people.
Yeah, right.
And I got it.
You're that guy that's gonna be on SportsCenter tonight.
Oh, I actually was on the halftime on one of the intermissions. They were interviewing one of the players, and I was like right behind him. Gotta have my buddy send me this video. I gotta send it to you. It's hilarious.
Oh wow! Only you, Goldberg, would find a way to get on TV. That's amazing.
All you've really missed is we've kind of caught up. We're on to this past week's episode.
Yeah, we're on this week's episode. We kind of cruised through the 6 and 7. I already did my rant.
Did I miss your elimination speech or what?
Yes, you did. Yeah. And I guess you probably have a question, so I'm gonna, Goldberg has a question. It's a new segment, but do you want to save that for that, or do you want to ask it now?
No, I'm gonna ask you. I mean, I feel for you that 2 seasons in a row, you've gotten eliminated without getting eliminated. So kind of feel for you.
Serves you right.
This is not becoming fun anymore for me, and I'm actually considering retiring from this show. So
I did one, to be honest with you, because I was like, he's not going to want to do one.
I'm not having fun anymore, guys.
Yeah, right.
I lost my smile. Amazing Races broke me.
Yeah, right. That's funny.
You know, I mean, can you imagine though if you were on the Amazing Race and you could not compete anymore because you just got COVID randomly? Anyways. All right. Moving on. Going back to where we were.
Yeah. So Marcus and Michael really struggled with trying to even get there, which I found hysterical because it's a big fucking stadium.
Well, yeah, that. But do you know who else? Quentin and Maddie and David.
That's true.
Too. True. I think all three of those teams had struggles finding it.
Which I felt bad for Quentin and Maddie because, like, I mean, they didn't know. They took the wrong route, which ended up.
Yes.
But you know, when they're sitting there, and I was just like, go over and push the button.
But task-wise,
yes.
they were. I've never seen a team like do the tasks so well and then just completely screw up on the navigation.
But it totally makes sense though, because it's the navigation that got them into this spot. Remember going to the second episode.
Yeah. It's not a surprise.
Right.
But man, Quentin, that kick was perfect.
Yes, it was. And
that my goodness.
First try too.
Yes.
Like, and he was the one that he was like, oh, it has to be. Like, okay, cool. Didn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. If they would have had the navigation, they would have been they would have been a team that could have possibly won, but navigation is part of it. So let's talk about these. Let's talk about the detour. It was a choice between say 6, lay bricks, and say 6 teams had to find 3 poets who each displayed and recited 2 verses of the French poem Domaine de l'Aube by Victor Hugo. Teams then had to recite the 6 stanzas to a judge in order to receive their next clue. In lay bricks, teams had to lay bricks in order to recreate a sidewalk pattern and receive their next clue. All right. Goldberg, which one are you doing here?
Oh man. Wait. Run back by me those the 2 options.
So you had to find 3 poets who each displayed and recited 2 verses of the French poem Domaine de l'Aube by Victor Hugo. And then you had to recite the 6 stanzas to a judge in order to receive their next clue. And then in lay bricks, teams had to lay bricks in order to recreate a sidewalk pattern and receive the clue.
I think I would have done. You know what? It's actually a toss-up. I think they're both equally as difficult. In this one, I remember thinking that while I'm watching it. These are both pretty tough. I guess I probably would have gone with the laying the bricks just because, like, I know what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when you're doing those poems and when you're reciting stuff, it's just like you never know. Like, you just never know what you're gonna say wrong and what you have wrong in the moment. Like, they don't really tell you like exactly what you got wrong. So like, I think personally, I definitely would have gone with the sidewalk thing. What about you guys?
I'm doing sidewalk all day.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a chance with the poem.
For the same reasons, or
yeah. Well, I think the only confusing thing about the sidewalk was the short bricks versus the long bricks.
It kind of reminded me of the puzzle, right?
Yeah. It kind of was when there was that open space there.
Right. So I would have done the poem. Here's why I would have done the poem. Now, you're right. I would have to rely on my partner to remember the second line. But I think I can go through a poem quicker than I can go through laying the bricks, right? Because you didn't exactly know necessarily, because my team decided to do the lay bricks, you didn't necessarily know the order in which the bricks had to go. At least with the puzzle, you kind of, because you're staring at it in the previous episode, you're staring at it, so you kind of know what needs to go where, right?
Yeah.
This you don't necessarily know. So, okay, I remember a line, you remember a line, right? And so,
But there's only 3 people. I mean, they're spaced out though too. So
true.
that's the thing. And the bricks, you have the example like pretty
True.
close to you.
True.
But it's similar though to the Walnut versus Medieval games from the previous episode, where
Right.
one's going to take you a certain amount of time, and then the other one, if you're really good, you could bypass. But I'm not confident enough that I can remember a foreign language, even
Right.
though it's said slowly. So I think I'm just going to do the bricks. But yeah, I can see your point with the poem.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it would be easier for me just to keep looking at the brick display and then figuring out what I need to do from there.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah, that looked really tough to try to like remember a different language. That looked really tough.
Well, especially with rolling your R's. Like, I'm still not good at that. Like, and I took a year of Spanish, and I'm still not good at it. So, I mean,
1 year. I took like 3 years, and I can't.
Yeah.
I still can't speak Spanish.
I don't even want to get I think I did 1 year of Spanish and 3 weeks of German, and then I called it a day.
longer for me than with French. Go ahead.
So I just want to say, like, was it surprising that Marcus and Michael did the poem? I really would have thought they would have done the bricks.
No, because as we talked about for the previous episode, it's what they decided to do. Like, they're good. They're apparently very good at memorizing either lines or words or phrases, something. They're good at something.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the bells. I'm thinking of like when they did the bells.
Yeah, the bells. They didn't do
right.
so.
But like they're very good about like.
Still took first that episode. So.
Yeah, once they kind of hear it, it sounds like they're really good about auditory things. So once they kind of hear it, they remember it. Both of them do.
Well, you're right, because they did the Arabic alphabet too.
Right.
So, they did do that one as well. So I guess it's not always about brute strength with them. I guess that makes them a little different than, some of the other teams from the past that would, just kind of the two male team or the male team that would just, do the physical task always.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. Quentin and Maddie knocked this one out. I mean, David and Aubrey, like, that took them a little bit. I thought Quentin and Maddie might have actually gained some time on them, and they may have. But I think we should talk about what's on the roads, those like peg things that come up and go down. I'm like,
what
wow.
ended up Quentin and Maddie, yeah, and it also Emily and Molly struggled with they missed where they were supposed to park, so they actually parked inside like the
oh yes the parking structure, and they couldn't because they didn't have cash or coins.
And they had cash, like, which that goes back to what we know about Amazing Race history. That's what they give you. They give you cash. You're not going to get a credit card. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They were like, we don't have cash, or we don't have a credit card, and they were in the do. But which
it didn't seem to slow them down too much, though.
No, that was interesting.
I think I think it was Emily's leg seemed to slow her down more.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which one it was, but we'll get into that because I think that deserves to be talked about, obviously. But David and Aubrey didn't have a great leg, but they definitely didn't argue like they did in the one before that. But they had enough to beat Quentin and Maddie. This week, we had Derek and Claire come in first. We had Luis and Michelle come in second. Emily and Molly in third. Marcus and Michael in fourth. Aubrey and David in fifth. And Quentin and Maddie in sixth, which was enough for elimination. How close was this race? Did it seem like David Aubrey beat him maybe by a minute?
Yeah, this part was closer than the previous episode. This one was closer. It was just like if you made a wrong turn on the block, you were pretty much screwed.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I think Quentin and
Mm.
Maddie gained some ground. There's no question.
Yeah.
They were running.
Yeah.
David and Aubrey they weren't walking slow by any means, but they
Mhm.
definitely made some ground. Plus, they did the detour in one truck. Obviously, cut some time out.
David and Aubrey are really living it seems like by a hair that they are surviving these weeks.
Oh, they wouldn't be on the show if Abby and Will were there. So, I mean,
it's beneficial for David, like that. The fact that he can memorize things, except for like rolling his R's and like doing language. Like he's good at remembering some stuff. Like he's good.
But Calbert, your team. I'm sorry. What's the guy's name on your team?
Luis
Right now, to me, is stealing the entire show.
Yep.
This guy has been carrying that team.
Yep.
For weeks.
Yep.
Like week after week after week, and he's cocky about it. Like he's becoming arrogant. And it's like but it's a respectable arrogance. Like he knows his shit doesn't stink. Like
right. And he's probably gonna have a funny line this week going into this. That's what he does.
He's killing it. This guy, like to the point where I'm rooting for him.
Right.
He's a rootable guy.
You know what though? I don't think Michelle's done that bad.
No,
but he. I mean, without him, let's be honest, they'd be out. They would be out.
Well, right. But what you missed was we talked about in the previous episode where she did the rappelling down the wall and she had the mnemonic device to go. Okay, I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna remember everything. And
that's true.
Second time she went through it, she went boom, got it.
But we've had a team like this before, and they ended up winning the whole thing. But I wouldn't say Luis is at Cody's level.
No.
Cody, I believe it was season 30.
Mm-hmm.
It was season 30 that they won, the Big Brother team. Cody Nixon, I believe was his name.
Right.
Guy just absolutely killed it, man. He was a machine. There was nothing stopping him. And
my one worry for my team is, just like with every other team so far this past week, is navigation.
Yeah, they seem to do
Luis,
all right.
Luis is okay once he kind of gets going. As long as he knows he's going in the right direction, he seems to know where he's going. Even this past week's episode, he made the right choice about trying to get to the stadium. So that's my one little concern, because I think we're at the point now where Goldberg and my team have separated themselves.
Yep.
That's just not
Derek player though. You got to give them a lot of props for 2 weeks ago for doing the medieval challenge and just bumping up. That was a decision that I don't think many teams do. They could have been comfortable with their, 5th place or 4th place and not got eliminated. But the fact that they were able to, make a decision and jump some teams, I think that deserves a lot of credit there. And then what would allow them to become first place for this week. So I don't know. I think they deserve a lot of credit. They're kind of back up in my book. I haven't seen anything really cringy from Derek in a minute. So,
but the all guy team that you were just talking about, what's their names again?
Marcus and Michael.
Yeah, I love their mentality. They are not happy unless they get first place.
Yep.
I love that mentality.
Yep. They got a great mentality. They just their own worst enemy is themselves.
Well, right. Look at how much.
I think will be their demise in the end.
Yeah, look at how much responsibility he put on himself. They were trying to get to the stadium, and I think it was Michael that said, "Go this way," and that was a mistake. Then they had to do it. Then they had to he had to kick the rugby ball at least 10 times. I stopped counting after that.
Yeah.
And he legit felt bad. So there he is in the back of his car thinking about crap, I told my brother to go this way, which was the wrong way to go. And then I couldn't kick the ball as, quickly as I wanted to. So Goldberg's right though. Like they're a pretty good team. It's just that they are their own worst enemy. Like as long as they don't get in each other's way, and there's no navigational issue, like they could win this thing. They could.
Else could have won this thing.
Will and James.
Wait, Lulu and Lala? Is that what you said?
I repicked. I mean, if we're gonna be fair, like.
Yeah.
Wait.
You don't get to grace your sorrows on here.
I thought it was Glenda and Lubumba. This was the last time you could sing Lubumba.
Oh yeah, that's too bad.
Go ahead.
Well, then they drove their car over a ditch.
They did, and apologized for doing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'm hopefully Boom Boom will have a better fate.
Yes.
But this is tough though. As of right now, I honestly don't know who's going to win. I really don't. It could come from any of these teams, except for I don't think Dave and Aubrey can win. I really don't. I don't think Emily and Molly can win either.
Well, okay. I'll hold off on that.
So the top three, though, I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think it could go whoever has that. I think there is a clear-cut three in my mind right now. And I know Goldberg, you're very impressed with Emily and Molly, but that train's about to derail any second, as we saw. And maybe we should talk about it. So she sprained. What did she sprain? Her hammy or tore? She's got torn hammy or what? What does she have?
It's a lie. I'm not buying it.
Wow. You're not buying it?
She's definitely limping. She's got like some type of brace on her ankle, knee.
She can't do it.
Yeah.
They're gonna be out soon. You saw like how much pain she was in. They keep talking when the producers.
I'll take it a step further. I think they get eliminated this week. I think she flat out says, "I can't do it anymore."
Wow.
So she's gonna tap out.
I think so.
Wow.
Going off the preview. I don't know anything. Just going off.
There were a few teams that were having issues.
But you've been around a long enough time to know the previews are bullshit.
Absolutely. But
if they tap out, then I think Abby and Will should be ready to come back.
Oh my God, give it up.
I don't know how far she can go. Like that's the thing. This is gonna come down to a race to the mat. Like, right? If it comes down to a race to the mat, are you gonna take Emily and Molly right now?
Wait, hold on.
Absolutely not.
Pearls.
Yeah.
Give it up. They're out.
No. Never. They weren't even eliminated. They should still be on the show. They should have paused the race for 5 days. Is what they should have done.
Just like I picked the Holderness last season.
Yeah. Should have paused the race for 5 days. That's all I gotta say. Anyways, you're right though. I mean that knee is not getting better. It's actually getting a lot worse. It looks like she did something to it in the first leg of Jordan.
Yeah. Like she tweaked her hamstring, ankle, something, trying to find if I remember correctly, and it was something simple too. Like they were going to the next task. Like it wasn't.
Right, they were just walking, like they're just walking in the sand. But Calbert, since you've already tooted your own horn, I'm going to toot my horn right now and tell you they already said the physicality was going to get to them.
Yes,
and look at what's happening. Toot.
Yes, you are correct.
Thank you.
They are so smart that they knew how they'd get eliminated in this show. They're that smart.
Goldberg, no. Are you sure you didn't pick Emily and Molly?
If I could go back, I might.
You're their number one fan. Like
the team you actually picked has a legit chance of actually probably maybe winning this thing.
Derek and Claire are on a tear, so I would now repick. But Molly and Emily, man, like they're just that smart. Like they're just like they knew how they'd get eliminated, and it's probably going to turn out that way.
But they still got their own hand gesture, the heart.
I think their brains. What are we down to? 5 teams.
We're down to 5.
Yeah, their brains may still outlast David and
Aubrey.
They could outlast them just because they're way fucking smarter than them. So that would put them in the final 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can get past that though. To be honest,
I
think that would be the end of the line.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out something very smart to get to the
David
top.
and Aubrey have been just escaping elimination, so I think they're next. I really think they're next.
Welcome to our. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, well, let's give our ratings for this episode. What Goldberg? What would you rate this episode?
I enjoyed this episode. I mean, it had a lot to offer other than just the tasks. I enjoyed it. I'll probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, that's respectable. I'm actually going to give it. I'm going to give it a 7.7. I think it's in between a 7.5 and an 8. But really, I thought this might have been the best episode of the season so far. And it's not that I haven't liked this season, but we just haven't had one that's like really, really exciting. But this episode felt like a classic Amazing Race episode. So I'm going to give this one a 7.7. Calbert, what are you giving it?
I'm going to give it an 8. And outside of the premiere episode for this season, I agree. I think this was the best episode out of all of them so far. It was very Amazing Race classic-esque.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Austria one too. That was one with the bells and stuff.
True.
But this one was really good. All right, we got a lot to say about the power rankings. Hey Goldberg, I'm going to let you have some time here because you got a lot to say about your 5th place team. So let's hear it.
What is that? Molly and Emily?
No. What? Wait, what? You're putting them 5?
Oh no, David and Aubrey.
There you go.
There we go.
David, I mean, they're done. They're done. I still even if Molly or Emily or whichever one is injured, broke a leg, I still think they'll somehow they will still finish ahead of David and Aubrey.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so I'll just go with my 5th place team. Okay, I think it is David and Aubrey, clearly. I can't believe they've made it this far, to be honest with you. I think I had them going out about 5 episodes ago. But
I think they had themselves going out about 5 episodes ago.
I honestly don't know if they're going to get eliminated next week. That's how crazy it is. They're like this year's version of what was that team that you loved last year, Calbert? It's not Apana.
No.
What the heck? The father-daughter team that got 3 chances to keep playing.
Yes.
I mean, they made it to the final 4.
Right.
I vote. Sorry. So, yeah, I'm putting David and Aubrey here. They should have been eliminated, but they haven't been eliminated. And I don't think they're going to get eliminated next week. I really don't. There's just too many things going on. And they're somehow week by. I'll have to, after our power rankings, I'll give you my prediction.
Okay.
All right, Calbert, who's 5 for you?
So I realized what I just said 2 minutes ago, but everybody's right. It is Aubrey and David. Even if Emily and Molly have to crawl to the mat, which they might.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think they get eliminated. Aubrey and David they're done. Pick the kind of steak you want to have. Call it done. Go home. We don't want you anymore. Not that I don't. It's not like I don't hate them like I didn't like Rex's Team Rex, even though they made me laugh. They're done. They just are. Go home. LA's waiting for you.
And Goldberg, before you give your 4th place team, any final thoughts about Quentin and Maddie? Because I don't think we got your thoughts on them.
Actually, that's a team that I'm impressed actually made it to the final six. Like, well, maybe they're a middle of the pack team, but no better. I mean,
Asterisk.
yeah, they should be proud with a sixth place finish.
They weren't better than Abby and Will. Anyways, keep going.
You need to give it up. You need to call it a season for yourself.
I think that's a very Lulu.
Where do I think very funny. Where do I think Abby and Will would have finished? Probably fifth.
Yeah. I'm not ready to say that, but we'll never know. I'm going to give it up now. That's my last time I'm going to talk.
You know what? Well, yeah, probably fifth. They would have finished ahead of David and Aubrey. That's it. Abby was out of shape. She was out of shape.
Yeah, but so was Emily and Molly, and I think they could beat
geniuses.
them.
Let's not. No, they're geniuses.
All right. We'll see how genius they are with a torn ACL. All right, Goldberg, back on track here. Who's your fourth place team?
Fourth, I mean, I don't think I have a choice at this point, but to go with Emily and Molly, just because of the situation at hand. If we didn't have an injury, I still would have them top two, top three. But yeah, that injury, I think I gotta put them fourth.
Okay, my fourth place team definitely is Emily and Molly. Despite the fact that they've had a really good injury situation, I can't put them higher than any of those other three. And I don't know what they can do that's going to outsmart anybody else besides
Doesn't take much.
Just getting drastically.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue.
So, I mean, David and Aubrey are going to have to go to the wrong country, similar to Quentin and Maddie, before they, don't get eliminated next week. So they're fourth. They've definitely proved me wrong, but I'm not putting them in the top three. Calbert, go ahead for fourth.
That's as close as saying I'm sorry I was wrong. I'll take that. Emily and Molly are four for me. And you guys looked at my notes. You're exactly right. Like, which, considering how the things went for them, injuries happen. Sucks. Like, there's nothing they can do unless a doctor when they go to Spain. Spoiler alert: they're going to Spain tomorrow. To find out how bad it really is.
Just to watching this.
They're done. So, which makes me sad because they're a good team. And
well, injuries happen. We've seen other teams. Team Fun.
Yep.
The first time the guy fainted in was it Thailand? Because they're so yeah. So I mean, it happens. Injuries happen.
Yep.
Anyways, Goldberg. Now here's where it's going to get interesting. Who's number 3 for you?
Well, definitely not myself because I thought I was muted while I was eating food just now. But I'm actually going to go with Michael and Marcus. I mean, I love these guys' mentality. I love how they're not happy with anything but first, literally anything but first. But as of right now, I feel like the other two teams are just a little bit ahead of them. So.
The team that's got the most first place finishes, you're putting third.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, buddy, your team's out, so let's not like.
They're disqualified. Thank you. Not eliminated.
I have written down eliminated on my notes.
It's not completely accurate.
All right,
Phil never had them say they were the last team to arrive.
That's a fair point, but you know what? Even if it's over a phone, it still counts.
That's fine. That's fine. Anyways, my third place team. Wow. I'm going Derek and Claire. Like, I like the fact. I was impressed that they took a chance last week. That was very smart.
What are you trying to prove?
I'm not trying to prove anything. They're third place for me. They're absolutely third place. And I'm not, when it comes to the challenges, they don't impress me from the other two teams. I think the other two teams that generally do a little bit better than them at the challenges. And navigation, we've seen where Marcus and Michael can just bypass anybody. So I slightly got Derek and Claire at 3. But top 3, it's not bad. It's nothing to be angry about. Calbert, who's your number 3?
It's Marcus and Michael. And it's Marcus and Michael until they decide to prove that they actually can navigate like they did at the beginning of this podcast. Because I've said this about this team from the beginning, or relatively close, I think the second or third episode. They can win this entire thing, provided that they can get there and not bicker and argue with each other, which, as we just saw with this past week's episode, navigation is an issue for them. Yes, it didn't cost them this week, but let's go back to a couple weeks ago when they decided they were one of the only teams to do the physical challenge instead of doing the puzzle. And they went, well, that was a stupid idea. Yeah, because you're the only ones doing it.
But they're still here.
They are still here.
They're still here.
So I have them 3rd. Can they win it all? Yes. Would it shock me if they won it? No. I just think navigation is going to be their downfall. Either that or they're just going to basically fight with each other.
I mean, why are we prisoners of the moment every week? I mean, do we not account for this team taking 3 first-place finishes and never having a worse place finish than 6th? I think that's got to count for something.
That's exactly what these power rankings are for. That's why we're prisoners of the moment.
All right. Goldberg, who's your number 2?
Luis and Michelle.
Oh, go Calbert! What the hell? Come on, what's he doing?
Wrong.
What is he doing, Calbert?
Continue.
I'll tell you why.
Continue.
Because Claire is a better player than Michelle, and that's the reason. Is that
Whoa.
I'm not gonna.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, we are sure because we're sure. That's why.
Hoya T.
Listen, I'm
we
not
forget
take
about
advice
that
from a guy who's like 0 for 82 since I've stepped into this podcast on picking winners. So I actually, you know what, Derek and Claire, I just feel a confidence, an air of confidence coming over them.
Hoya T.
Is that before or after Derek trips?
After, because
Okay.
we're down to 5 teams here.
Okay, just
Wait. Derek is like so in love with Michael. He's going to be like, my brother, what's up? While Michael and Marcus just pass him on the way to the finish line.
He might. That'd be the only way they'd lose. Voluntarily. I mean, have a team like Hurls. This is what, like, you wouldn't get this, but like when you have a team that you pick and they make it to the final 5.
Whoa. Okay, I know you're a rookie around these parts, but I got plenty of top 5 finishes, including a victory the year before you joined. So
okay,
let's pump the brakes there, Junior.
That wasn't that long ago. But even top 5, you have to stick with them. And basically, my reason for picking them first is they're the team I picked. So how could I not stick with them? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we're only down to 5 teams, so
right.
It's really. I mean,
go ahead.
We can confidently say we know the top 4, and I think we can confidently say we know the top 3 based on injury. So, yeah, I don't think it's that far fetched to put Derek and Claire first when there's only 3 options.
My number 2 is going to be Marcus and Michael. As much as I was hyping them up, I got to knock them a little bit for some of their troubles that they've been having, but I still think they're a better team than Derek and Claire, just by a little bit. So Marcus and Michael are my number 2. They got the most first-place finishes. But once again, there's going to be something that's going to probably derail them. So
there will be.
I got them at 2. Calbert, who's your number 2?
It's Derek and Claire. Duh.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a large separation between 3 and 2. but it's a separation. You know, if we're looking at a mountain, Marcus and Michael kind of towards the bottom part of the mountain. Derek and Claire are kind of towards the middle. And obviously, you know who I have at 1. So, I mean, Derek and Claire really have done, other than the singing, which I think could be their downfall if they have to sing again, or if they have to do a puzzle, which they would have to do it at this point. But I think there's enough separation between the top 2 teams that we know who the best 2 teams are. Would it shock me if Derek and Claire won? No. I just don't think they will, because Claire is the poison of this team. She's the Gary Anderson. She's the Charlie Brown. Derek is the Lucy. He's got the football, and he's just going to pull it just slightly away from Claire, so Claire falls on her back. And that's why Derek and Claire are 2.
All right, Goldberg, you're number 1. Let's hear the praise for your own team.
Yeah, I mean, Derek and Claire are just from the same reasons that I just gave. I mean, they're the team I picked, and I'm going to stick with them. And if they finish 4th this week, I will still put them first next week. Spoiler alert.
All right. And my number 1 team this week is going to be Abby and Will.
That's a good one. Well done.
Oh, no, begrudgingly, I'm putting Luis and Michelle there. They're on a hot streak right now. They did have a 4th place finish, but other than that, they're riding a wave. My only concern, they may have peaked a little too early. We haven't seen a lot of turmoil from them since probably episode 1. So I do believe like there's a lot of momentum in this. So they may have peaked a little too early, but as of right now, I got to give them the number 1. They look like they are running on all cylinders right now. So Luis and Michelle, number 1 for me. Calbert.
Had we done the power rankings for each week from the beginning part of this podcast for tonight, I would have had Luis and Michelle 1, and you would have said you're nuts because they finished 4th. Wrong with you. Mm-hmm. And sure, is Luis carrying the team? Argument could be made. Luis, the reason why they finished the cart, because I'm not 100% sure Michelle could have actually built it if she had to. Not that she's not smart, she's smart. But, you know, when you get wood and a hammer and nails and screws, it's hard. So, plus that thing was just, it looked heavy too, even though they just had to pretty much walk it across the street. So, Luis and Michelle for me are 1. They're going to be 1 unless they get eliminated, and then I'll be sad. And I'll boycott the podcast for next week. No, that's not true. But yeah, they're 1, and I think they're really good. They're really, really good.
Wow. You hold it right there. I feel like that was a jab at me, like I was controlling this.
No. No, you weren't controlling it. I would have had Luis and Michelle 1. I would have Luis and Michelle. If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have had them 1. And you would have said, "Well,
I'm
why?"
boycotting anything, damn it! I'm still here.
But yeah, I think, and Luis and Michelle, even with the teaming up that they've kind of done now, they haven't done it for very long. I didn't mention that part in the 3-episode recap that we've done. There's been a little teaming up, but it hasn't been the whole crazy thing, you know, where we see in typical Amazing Race fashion. Mm-hmm. It's just like it's the navigating part. You know, so they're fine. They've won money, by the way. They won money already. So
they got Expedia points.
Yes.
So
I think that they have enough, provided that Michelle gives good directions, which she's done really well at. I think they win this thing.
All right. I just to say a final comment on that. I think honestly it could be any of these 3 teams. If Emily and Molly were at full strength, I'd say maybe they could get in the top 3, but I still don't think they would win it even at full strength.
I don't believe you. Don't believe you.
So, yeah, no, they're not winning. David and Aubrey, no chance. They just don't have it in them. They're like the upper mid Carter that you're rooting for to get the title, but he just can't get it. That's David and Aubrey. But all right, Goldberg, this is where you come in. What is the Goldberg asks a question? Because I know you got one.
I'll give it to you after we get the preview for next episode.
All right, Calbert, why don't you read us where we're going to? You already kind of spoiled it, but go ahead.
It's another mega leg. Teams embark on a mega leg in Malaga, Spain, where racers become grill masters and brave rough waters.
Mega leg. Okay. Wow. Okay.
So we're not getting an elimination next week?
No.
That is correct.
That's a good thing I'm not tuning in then.
Wow, mega leg. So, okay. I guess my question is that why Phil said be prepared or something? Didn't you guys hear that tonight?
Yes.
He said like either rest up or be prepared for anything.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to Spain for a mega leg. Okay. Well, okay. So obviously, let's just throw out everything that we know for next week because it's not really going to matter too much. Okay. Goldberg, you got a question?
Yeah, you know what? I do have a question actually. And let me preface this by saying I want full honesty with this answer, not just who you picked and who you think is the best team, but looking back now, if we could go back to episode 1 and pick, obviously, probably 5 teams that literally we would just have no interest in, like Rich and Dom. But if you could go back now and you could pick one team, let's do 2 teams. Let's do 3 teams. 3 teams. You can pick 3 teams. But because obviously the full season's worth, we know who the best teams are. From episode 1, if this show was just 1 episode, and not obviously the team that finished first in the first episode, but if it was just one episode, who do you think would win? Because my answer would actually be a little different than what you would think.
So are you saying like one? So are we talking about the first episode in Germany?
No, let's just say
any final leg, all 12 teams.
Any final leg, every team is on the table. This show is just first team to win the first leg is the winner. Like, I get it, over a certain period of time you're gonna have the cream rise to the top, but who do you think would have won if it was just a 1 episode season?
I mean, we've seen good legs. We've seen a lot of different. We've seen what do we have here? Let me see. We've gotten 1, 2, 3.
Give me your top
4.
3.
We've had four teams have won a leg.
Yeah, but you've had good teams be eliminated. Like you've had a team that you both have ranked high, and they were eliminated. So,
yeah, I think. Well, I think Glenn and Lumumba.
I agree.
I had them higher than.
I think they were a top team, and they're gone. But I think they're a team that could have won the whole thing. But if you had to pick a top 3, like 3, 2, 1, who you got?
Well, that's hard. because I mean, any one of them could have had a good leg. I think.
It's
I'm
almost.
sticking. Well, here's what I'll do. I'm just gonna go with my pre-rankings because I had Derek and Claire up there. I had Abby.
It's almost
and
like
then,
asking you though, like who you think like the top 3 overall teams are to this point. Like, it doesn't even have to be a team that's still in the race.
I mean, I don't even. I know I'm not picking Asta and Nina. I don't think I was high on them.
Who?
Yeah, they got eliminated.
Yeah, they got eliminated episode 1.
Episode 1.
I didn't ask for the worst team.
Yeah.
Quentin and Maddie. I'm putting them in.
That's yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Derek and Claire, Maddie, and Abby and Will. Those were probably the 3 I'm most high on.
Interesting. That's interesting. What about you, Calbert?
I would have gone Quentin and Maddie would have been 3. I would have gone and that's good. Sorry, girls. I can't pick Abby and Will. Although I stared at it really, really long.
Abby and Will wouldn't pick Abby and Will.
Yeah, two would have been two would have been Claire, and 1 would have been Louise and Michelle.
Okay.
If we're just doing now to delete the back party question, and let's just say it's 1 episode, right? It's 1 episode, 12 teams. So we have no idea.
Knowing what you know now, though.
Yeah, if knowing what I know now, I still would have. That still would be my order. But if it's just 1 big ass episode, right, and it's let's say it's 2 hours long, right? Marcus and Michael could probably have won the entire thing. You know, going back to the very first episode, and Hurls mentioning that they've won legs and they've done really, really well. If it's 1 big ass episode, it's 2 hours long. They're gonna win the money at the end. They're gonna be doing it in Chicago, right? I'm just picking a city. Marcus and Michael could have, if it's a big ass episode like that, Marcus and Michael could win it. But I would still go with Quentin and Maddie.
I'm gonna give you my top 3 real quick, and then I'm gonna ask you one more quick question before we sign off. I got one more for you. I actually think Glenda and Lumumba, Hurls, I know you mentioned them. I think they would be a top 3 team because they performed so well, like right before they got eliminated. Like they were up there the entire. I mean, I guess they finished 7th, but they were up there for a while, right? Like they were a top team for a little while there.
They had came off 2 second place finishes right after another, and then it just derailed after that.
And then second, I love Emily and Molly, man. I just think they're so smart. If it was just 1 leg, I think they're really smart girls, and I think they'd get the job done. And number 1, I would go Marcus and Michael, just because these guys, man, like they don't settle for anything less than first. And I think if it was just 1 leg, I don't know. I think they'd get first. But I'm gonna ask you one quick question before we check out of here. Let's go with the old school question. If this was a battle royal, a Royal Rumble, who's winning this thing? From the men and then from the women. Is that how we should do it? Men and women?
I think we kind of already had this question, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Did we? When?
Yeah.
I asked this?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Same one.
Yep.
Obviously, we know Lumumba is winning the fucking women, but Glenda, or whichever one.
It's Glenda, right? Yeah.
Okay, Glenda. Yep. Okay, we know that. What? Oh, we did. We said Louise is winning, right?
Yeah. No, well, I think I had Louise, but then we also had. I think we kind of agreed that Quentin would actually be pretty good in himself.
Yeah, and
Quentin.
Yeah, he's the most athletic.
Yeah, he was because he was scrappy, and he's
Louise could take him. He could take him for sure.
Ooh. Did you see that guy punt the rugby ball?
I actually think Marcus and Michael would take his ass out too.
Wow. Did you see Michael run the rugby ball challenge?
I did, but I mean, I'm gonna go with
Quentin's the most athletic. I don't think there's any doubting that.
He might be, but you think that guy's ever been in a fist fight?
He probably slaps.
True.
All right, folks. On that note, we will see. Oh, before we go, I do want to mention it looks like next week is 2 hours, correct, Calbert? So we are going to have an elimination then. Is this a 2-hour episode?
Look, I'll tell you in 2 seconds here.
Okay.
Bye, Aubrey and David. I'm telling you.
Emily and Molly, that she better rest, man. You don't want to like have a career-ending injury. You know, you don't want to push it too hard.
I feel like at this point, like if the season were to end, do you not feel like Marcus and Michael deserve the win? Like at this point?
Yeah. Well, I can't do that because I think
Luis and Michelle.
I think all three, like our top three, I think all of them could win. It's just whoever comes to play on that final leg.
Well, to be honest, I'm only putting Derek and Claire in there because I picked them. But like honestly, they're like if Emily and Molly were healthy right now, Derek and Claire wouldn't be fourth on my list. To be honest with you,
They're a physical liability, though. I still can't.
Know.
As smart as they are, there's always gonna be that physical leg where it's just gonna destroy them. And then usually the final challenge is gonna be somewhat physical.
I think we're all on the same page with the top three. There's no question in that.
Yeah. It's just I don't know who's gonna win from that top three. I think it's pretty much up in the air with that.
Tomorrow's episode is only an hour. It is only an hour long.
Oh, okay. All right. They're gonna. Okay. All right.
Well, there's no eliminations this season, but we'll have like three.
We're gonna have two.
Nobody gets eliminated. Yeah.
We didn't even mention the fact that they changed the time because remember at the beginning of the season, and it's not because of the time change. Like
no, it's because one of the shows failed.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Which of course it was going to.
Yeah. So, well, that's what Amazing Race is. It's the Band-Aid.
That's right.
Whenever you need it, it's there.
That's right.
Reliable.
And yeah, exactly. 10, probably 10 years, I would say. All right. Any final comments for this episode before we sign on out of here?
I like the fact that it's a mega leg tomorrow. I really do. I like that it's in Spain. That'll be interesting.
Let those top five just duke it out and battle for position. I agree. We need to see more before we get another elimination. I want to see some battling. I want to see some clawing. I want to see some scratching. And I want to see a surprise run-in from Abby and Will. Emily and Molly with the chair, go after the leg, take themselves in, and steal this Royal Rumble.
Wait, neither one of you saw the super sneak peek this week?
No, I did. I saw it.
You saw they're bringing a team back, like from a previous season.
What? They are?
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, Leo and
Calbert, can you confirm this?
I cannot.
Yeah, okay. From a previous season? Wait, oh no, I know where he's going with this. Okay.
It's Leo. It's Leo and Alana.
I got it.
Oh man.
I didn't give the puzzled look, but I paused for like half a second going, nope, I don't remember reading that.
Well, it's not out of the question though. We've had past teams show up on legs before.
That would be
Chicago finale. They had a past team in there.
That
would be so funny.
Yep.
Leo.
Who are those two bald guys from New York from season 1? I mean, they showed up on 3 seasons now, just making appearances.
Oh wait.
So
I just recently started rewatching season 1.
Yes.
Oh, those two guys show up on multiple seasons.
Yeah, they were part of a. I don't know if they were part of a roadblock or they were part of something, but yeah, they did make an appearance again.
They were a likable team though.
They were very likable. Yeah. And you're gonna find with season 1 is how many of the teams are wearing jeans and what do they call those breakaway pants? Like the breakaway pants used to be like a staple. And then around 2010, you just stopped seeing them.
But what did those two guys, they come top 3 or something? Maybe
they were I think they were top 3 or top 4. They were They did really well.
Every episode, I keep saying to myself, these guys are so likable. They were like New Yorkers, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
likable guys.
They were good. And before we start, we're gonna have to sign off eventually here. But I just want to say, isn't it crazy how different season 1 was to what it is now?
I mean, naturally, yeah. Any show.
It's way different though. Like way different. Like I don't know. It was more focused on just like their traveling instead of the task. But
right, I feel like a lot of early seasons were more focused on like making the right flight and like
yes,
yeah,
the train, catching a train, and all that stuff.
Yeah, now you're right. It's more focused on the actual
task.
Yep.
Right.
All right, Calbert, you got any final comments?
No, looking forward to tomorrow.
All right.
Whose dog is that?
Not mine.
Calbert?
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
got a Chihuahua. It's not barking. So.
He's not
Calbert has a pit. You got a pit bull?
No, it's a reticular.
All right, guys. Before we have our whole conversation on here, we will see you next week. Signing. Bye-bye.